Financial freedom is not about having more, it's about saving more and having control over your choices. And I, Caden Harris, commit to securing the bag.
Welcome to the Dfree Financial Freedom Movement, where we celebrate through this event we call FinFest, Financial Festival. Help people that are interested in making more money, who are interested in managing the money they have more effectively, and interested in investing money to increase income. I'd like to welcome you because this is not just one event, but we have a series. And if this is your first exposure to the FinFest events, then I'm inviting you to look at the others right here on this same site. And if you have seen the others, I'm hoping by now you've shared with your friends and your network that you've liked the content that has been meaningful to you and you have subscribed to our channel. You know, when I was a teenager, I was focused exclusively on playing basketball, baseball, and trying to get a girlfriend. When I was 13, 14, 15 years old, that was my total focus. Yes, I went to church and I was in the Boy Scouts, but listen, if I had it my way, all I would do was basketball, baseball, and girls. This presenter is unique because at 13, he's not interested in basketball, he's not interested in baseball, and he doesn't seem to be chasing girls. He is a financial educator, and on the side, he's a high school graduate, 13 years old. I met him a couple of years ago. He was 11, and I was so fascinated that every place I go, I tried to invite him to come with me because the number one question we've gotten since 2005, when we've been teaching people Dfree curriculum and content, is what about the kids? Do you have content for kids? And we've developed a little content. There's Dfree Young Money on YouTube. We've got a book for young adults. But I concluded that rather than reinventing the wheel, why not bring a young person to teach young people about focusing on money while they're young? This young man has his own bus. It's a financial education bus. And he travels around on his bus and teaches young people his age about assets and liabilities, about investing and saving. I want you to seriously listen to and watch this young man who, by the way, started in life with a speech impediment. And now not only does he speak effectively, he speaks truth to the powerful possibilities of financial freedom. Caden Harris is our FinFest presenter, not only for the old, but for the young. He's a man for all ages. Take notes, invite your friends, and be blessed by this young man.
I shouldn't be here right now. Being a 13-year-old African-American kid speaking here in front of all of you, especially considering one of the biggest challenges I've ever faced is that I had a speech impediment. I could hardly speak until the age of 5 years old. So I would leave off the beginning and end off of words, and I had to go through years and years of speech therapy. Can you imagine being 5 years old and not being able to express what's on your mind and what you're thinking about and what you want to say? You can only imagine how challenging that must have been. But after years of speech therapy, I was able to prevail and take grand stages such as the Disney Dreamers Academy, Microsoft, Allstate, and so many more. And as of 2 weeks ago, I graduated high school. Now, along my journey in business, I've done a lot of things wrong, such as begging for money, asking for Robux, being frustrated when my parents wouldn't get me the things that I wanted. But here's what I figured out. There's a different way that you could do it. Instead of begging your parents for money, you can instead create your own company, which is what I did. You can ask them just as there are different things that you can do to earn money. Now, the question you all may be asking is, can anyone do it? Well, anyone can definitely do it, such as these three here. Gabby Goodwin, she started her company at 9 years old, and she made over $1 million in selling hair bows. She wanted to create them because her hair bows just kept falling out when she was in school, and she was able to make $1 million from it. That's amazing, isn't it? The next one, Davian Kimbrough. He's a 13-year-old pro soccer player at 13, yes. And the next one, Joe. He would always get in trouble in school for drawing, but luckily his parents recognized what his gifts were, and he signed a deal with Nike. Now, I'm gonna let you guys in on 3 secrets. Secret 1, it's easier to offer a product or service than it is to ask for money. Secret 2, we value things more when we spent our own money for it. And secret 3, having a place to save our money helps a ton. Now, like I said, can anyone do it? As you can see, these are just a few checks that I've collected within the last few years. It's showing that anybody can do it. $1,000, $10,000, $5,000. So anyone can do it. And you don't have to wait until you're an adult to be able to make money and be able to grow a successful business. You may be asking, what does financial freedom mean for kids? Financial freedom for kids means having the ability to make choices and to pursue their goals and aspirations. Financial freedom for kids means have the ability to manage their money, set saving goals, and making spending choices without being overly reliant on the parents or guardians. Now, these are 5 key reasons why financial education is super important for kids. The first one, financial independence. Being able to be financially independent. Building saving habits so that you know how to properly save your money at a young age. Investment and wealth building, know how to choose where to invest, how to invest. Financial resilience, knowing when to use your money, just being resilient financially. And avoid having bad debt. These are 3 questions that you guys can ask your parents today. Will you add me as an authorized user on your credit card so I can start building my credit? 2, can we start a joint checking account? 3, can I choose a stock to purchase? These are all 3 great things that will help set you up in life. The next thing we're going to be moving on to is budgeting. Can any of you guys name some things that your parents might have to budget for in a family budget? You can raise your hand and say any out loud. Well, some things that they might have to budget for are things like bills, cars, food, yes, clothes, just so many different things that they have to. Food, like I mentioned, just so many different things that your parents have to budget for. Now, financial independence are steps to help you work towards your financial independence. Setting clear financial goals. Having a clear goal that will provide motivation and direction for your financial journey. 2, creating a budget that will help you develop a budget that outlines your income and expenses. 3, earning income to seek the opportunities to earn monies at teenagers. This includes part-time jobs, tutoring, selling items online, and others. 4, saving regularly. Commit to a saving portion for your hard-earned money on a regular basis. Consider opening a savings account to separate your money that you spend and your savings. 5, make sure that you invest wisely. Learn about different investment options, considering opening an investment account to start investing long term. Now, these are 3 ways to avoid having bad debt. Living within your means. Ensure that your expenses do not exceed your income. You may be wondering what I mean by that. That means that you're making sure that you don't spend on unnecessary things or go over items that just simply aren't in your income or budget that you may have. So if you know that you have a certain amount of money that you have and you have to spend it, make sure it's only on the things that you need. The next one is avoiding impulsive purchases. That means not buying everything that you see. If you see something that you like, that doesn't mean just immediately buy it. Think about, is this something I can use? What would I do with it long term? How could it benefit me in the future? And the third one is setting financial goals. Establish clear financial goals and prioritize them on your budget, making sure that you have strict goals and that you will work towards those goals. Now, these are 5 of the best investments for kids. The stock market, of course, Roth IRAs, savings account, and also starting a small business. And mutual funds as well. These are 5 great investments to start with at being a teenager or a kid. Now, you may be wondering, how do I make sure that I choose a good stock? Think of everyday brands that you use. If you have a washing machine, of course you use Tide to use for cleaning detergent. Nike, everybody wears Nike shoes. Just so many people wear them. Invest in things that other people use. Make sure that you invest in parent companies. And make sure that you also look up stock codes, and that's how you're able to find the stocks that you're looking for. And there's also one thing that you can use called fractional shares. So if you don't have enough to invest in a whole share in a stock, you could just get them fractionally. These are 3 ways to save. The 10% rule, of course, 10% for you, 20% for savings, and 70% back into your business. A place to save, a bank account, or a cash value whole life policy. And you also should make sure to set incentives to see if there's something that you may want or something that you may like, because that'll definitely make you work harder. One of my stories that I have for incentives is that I flew me and my dad out to WrestleMania this year. It's pretty much like the Super Bowl of wrestling. So I had to fund the airfare, lodging, and the tickets to the event itself. Financial freedom is not about having more, it's about saving more and having control over your choices. The next thing we're going to be moving on to is assets versus liabilities. Does anybody know the difference between an asset and a liability for the kids? Yes. That is very close. Yes. Yes. Yes, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket, and a liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Something that would be an asset is owning something like a house or a property, pretty much meaning that you could sell the house, you could rent it out, you could put it on Airbnb, and there's so many things that you could do with it. And a liability would be something like a car. If you just use it regularly to drive around, then that would, of course, make it a liability. The next one is going to Starbucks daily. Would that be an asset or a liability? That is correct. The next one is owning a gaming console. Would that be an asset or a liability? That is correct. It would be a liability. The next one is owning a pair of shoes. Would that be an asset or a liability? That would be a liability. Whilst it is a need, it would still be a liability. The next one is writing your own book. Would that be an asset or liability? Yes, that would be an asset because it's your own intellectual property that you can sell for years and years to come. The next one is owning a watch. Would that be an asset or liability? Whilst I do like wearing myself a nice timepiece, that would be a liability. The next one is owning a business. Would that be an asset or a liability? That is correct. That would be an asset. Moving on, we're going to go over these 5 words that will definitely help you, and they're some of the 5 key words that you definitely need to know as far as banking terms. The first one is loan, an amount of money that's given to you for a period of time with a promise to pay it back. The next one is wealth, when your assets exceed your liabilities. Bank fraud, illegally gaining access to assets held by a bank. Budget, a measure of revenue and expenses over a specific period of time. And interest, the money borrowed for, interest is pretty much the amount that you have to pay for borrowing money. Now, you can pretty much finish this statement. Birds of feather? Yes. Which is why my parents got me around kids and adults that thought just as me and that they wanted me to know and who thought about money just as I did. Which is why I created my membership for kids, the Rich Kids Circle, so that other kids would be able to associate with kids that are just like them and have the same aspirations of saving money and so much more. Now, may you all rise and take the money pledge with me. And where I say my name, you insert yours. Repeat after me. I, Caden Harris, commit to earning a ton of money. I commit to budgeting my money. I commit to saving my money. I commit to investing my money. And I, Caden Harris, commit to securing the bag. You may all take a seat. Now, before I close, does anybody have any questions for me? Yes. They're on my website as well if you scan the QR code. Any other questions? Yes. What? Well, I started my business when I was 7 years old, and I've just been creating my business ever since then, reinvesting back into it. Yes, ma'am. Anybody else? Yes. Well, just seeing my dad, who's actually written many books, over 30 books, and that just inspired me to create my own business. And also my sister as well, because she created her business before me, where she had her own dolls, vitamins, just so many things. And I knew that I wanted to create my own business as well ever since then. Yes.
My question is, have you ever struggled with creating your business?
You said, have I ever struggled doing anything in my business? Well, I wouldn't say necessarily, but I have faced some challenges. One of the biggest challenges I faced is when I was raising $50,000 to create my very own financial bus, which has a mock bank, a mock grocery store, and a mock stock exchange to teach kids how to earn, save, budget, and invest their money. But with that, I had a capital raise of $50,000. And the challenge that I faced with that is receiving a lot of no's. I expected to get a lot of yeses and for everybody to just say yes to investing in my business. And people would say that they were going to do stuff like invest in my business, and then I never heard from them again. So that was one of the biggest challenges that I had to get used to. You will hear a lot of no's.
My question is, was it hard to start your business?
Well, it wasn't really that hard to start my business since I already had my dad, who had his company before and had experience before. I also had my sister who had her own business. So I was just able to join a few programs where I was able to learn about financial literacy and be able to teach and inspire the next generation about financial literacy. Yes.
How did you attempt to get graduated at like 11?
Well, I was actually graduated at 13 2 weeks ago, and I was able to do that by joining a accredited program. Thank you. But yes, like I said, I joined a accredited program, and over the summer, I also took some college courses as well.
Was it hard finishing high school?
Well, it wasn't actually that hard to finish high school. High school was actually easier than I thought it would be. It was just a few things like math that were just a little challenging as well. Any other questions?
What's your liability?
A liability is things that take money out of your pocket, such as things like I mentioned, like a car, a watch could be, just things that don't make you money. Yes. My next thing is to travel across the country and continue inspiring the next generation and teaching them about financial literacy.
In high school, did you take it like homeschool, or did you go to high school with other high school kids?
Well, yes, I was actually privately educated, and I was able to be pretty much being at home and being schooled. So it was easier to do it that way than alternatively going into a normal school and skipping a few grades like that. Any other questions? Well, guys, it was so great speaking to all of you, and thank you for listening to me today. Like I said, you can connect with me through my QR code here, and my biggest mission and goal is to continue teaching over 500,000 kids about financial literacy. You can actually watch me on Hulu, where you can see the renovations of my bus on a show called Big RV Remix, where Shaq and Big Boy from Outkast are also on there with their own episodes as well. And thank you for helping me reach my mission of teaching 500,000 kids about financial literacy. And my biggest goal is to teach kids that if Caden can, you can too.
I'm so inspired by Caden Harris because, as I mentioned, as a young man, to be that focused on finance and to be that passionate about sharing financial information with your peers, that's exceptional. But I also have to give a shout out to his parents, because for Caden at 13 to do what he does, he has to have parents that are not only engaged in his work, but also who have the information themselves. So when I see Caden, I believe he's good for children and their parents, because parents, the children that you're raising, grandparents, the children that you support, can't start young enough learning about money. 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, they need to get an appreciation for money, for value, for the cost of items and the cost of living. So thank you, Caden Harris, and thank all of you for taking the time to experience this young man. Go to our website, Dfree.com. There's a plethora of information. We have calculators there for people attempting to understand interest rates on their credit cards and their mortgages. There's a lot of information that's free for you. Thank you for participating in FinFest virtually. Send us a message if you've learned something, or if you like something. Share this with all of your friends, and make sure you earn money, invest money, manage money, and prepare for being a blessing to the next generation.